court before they finally made the decision saying he was inadmissible to Canada because he sought to subvert the military dictatorship in Burma by being a member of the Karen National Liberation Army. All the time that he wasn't granted permanent residence, he couldn't bring his family from the refugee camp in Thailand. They eventually got, his wife and kids got permission to go to the United States. Actually, before that, we'd gotten, with the help of Olivia Chow, the immigration minister's office, had said they would give them, the family, temporary residence permits, but they couldn't get out of Thailand with just a temporary resident permit. Eventually, his wife and kids got to go to the United States, and then disaster struck. His wife was killed in a car accident there. Ler Wah in the film described not being able to go to the funeral. His kids couldn't come to Canada because they have no status here, and he's been basically separated from them for that time. The fall of 2009, as I say, after I threatened them with a court action, they finally said he was inadmissible, and then there's a process under the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act where you can apply for ministerial relief from that finding of inadmissibility. And since the fall of 2009, we've been attempting to get the Canadian government to make a decision on that issue. I've twice gone to the federal court. The government has now made 2 recommendations in regard to the question of relief from inadmissibility. Those are made by the Canada Border Services Agency. Both times they've recommended that he not be granted ministerial relief. That decision is presently in the hands of Vic Tays, who's the Minister of Public Safety, and we're waiting for a decision on that. There's been some private intervention from some members of Parliament, speaking to Jason Kenney, and some other pitches on it, but right now we're just waiting for a decision on that. If they grant ministerial relief, he then gets permanent resident status, can eventually apply for Canadian citizenship. If they turn him down, and that's the common pattern on these type of applications, he remains with no resident status here. He's subject to applying for work permits every 6 months, and they're unbelievably slow in processing those, so very often his permission to work in Canada disappears. So the Canadian government, in my view, has treated him abysmally. Anybody who thinks that somebody is a danger to Canada because they actually opposed the military dictatorship, and in Ler Wah's case, while he was a teacher for the KNU in the Karen territory in Burma, he joined the KNLA in the fall of 1988 after military dictatorship and killed in excess of 3,000 pro-democracy demonstrators. And what the KNLA was doing at that time was protecting both the Karen people and those who had fled Burma from being killed by the Tatmadaw in Burma. So that's the present situation.
Thank you so much, Paul. Just want to say thank you again for coming out. I really appreciate it, and the support is awesome. We have an online petition outside in the hallway. You're willing to sign, and also if you go to www.divfacefilms.com, you can sign the petition there as well. So do you guys have any questions at all? Anything?
I have a question for you, Sarah. What got you interested in doing this film?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to Steph Canot. I don't know if she's in the room, but she's the girl in the front. Steph! Okay. Most amazing, woman. We went to her house. I had just moved from Vancouver to Toronto,